Man, I'll tell you what, speaking of intense, it's time to take a look at the overall rankings. And I think it's now time to also start coming up with our conspiracy theories here. Glitter, 7. Look at this board. HVVP is in 3rd place. And you know they have a massive target on their back here, Glitter.
They absolutely do, and after that performance, a little bit of a comeback like you were mentioning earlier, 7, Fireflux is only 6 points behind them. So if I were HVVP, I would be starting to get a little bit nervous here. That forces Vampire Esports down, but only 3 points behind Fireflux. I mean, this is a tight race. You see that Damwon after that performance, they're up here on this first page now. And like the casters were saying, it's still a big gap for them to try to close in 2 more matches, but they can at least shrink it down. Meanwhile, Inko kind of maintaining a decent spot, though, like you would also mention, 7, because of the matching performances.
Yeah, the matching performance helped them out in a big way. You can see them being able to keep a little bit of that lead that they do have. We have seen some of the other teams. I mean, Donuts USG, they just have Naoto up there for the top players head-to-head. I wonder if maybe those teams can have a pop-up performances, because that's what 1 million Evos in Donuts is going to need. A pop-up performance. What they have been doing is just not going to cut it. And I honestly don't know, Glitter, if any of those teams can have a pop-up performance.
It's probably too late for that, Jukes. I mean, how are you feeling about that?
Well, you see, this is the question. Okay, so if you look at the next person down from Inko, they have 18 points in difference, and it only gets bigger from there. So you have to think, what is the strategy coming from these players at this point? At this point, some of the teams at the bottom, they probably feel that they got nothing to lose, and they're just going to have fun. And you'd be surprised, they'll probably do pretty good here. But, you know, my question is this to you, 7. You know, with that 18-point gap minimum, okay, I think that now at this point, right, obviously having a good performance is huge, but I think if you don't, like Inko Gaming, I think you have to take them out early here. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying there. This is kind of what I was alluding earlier. Yeah, a team could have a good performance, but if the other team that you're trying to catch up is also having a good performance, it's pretty much pointless.
Yep,
and that's why I'm going to be looking at Fireflux and Alpha 7, because those two teams are currently fighting for that 3rd spot. HVVP stuff has not been working out for you, and I think we got a perfect example to Glitter in the earlier Miramar match when they just fully send it to the middle of the map. You could hear John having pretty much a stroke, wondering how the hell worked out for him. That stuff is currently not working for him. They need to do something different.
Which is crazy, too, because they were at the top of the leaderboard until, I don't know, 4 games ago. So this is got to be really, really rough. They need to clutch up in these last 2 matches and kind of regain a little bit of that former glory. I'm keeping my eyes on Nova and Inko. All right, Inko still needs to maintain themselves just inside that bubble so they can at least make it to the survival stage. And then, of course, a Damwon. After the performance they just had, they tend to snowball a little bit and see if they can keep it up.
Yep.
Man, well, at this point, I think it's all about top 3 or nothing. So you got to put it all on the line, everything you got to get one of those golden tickets. Let's see if someone can get it, hopefully here in this next game, as we go on over to our casters.
We're heading over into Miramar. We're getting straight on into the action, hopefully very, very soon, because for this 3rd place spot, the chase is on. And with a team that nobody would have expected coming into today, HVVP in that bubble position.
Yeah, HVVP going from 1st place the entirety of the week, the entirety of this tournament, all of a sudden looking like they might not even make top 3. That's a huge, drastic drop-off. I mean, if you take a look at their performances today, they had an okay game number 1, but game number 2, 3, and 4 just riddled with mistakes and sloppiness, and that has let the other teams really surpass them, that of Nova and Godlike Stalwart Esports, and who knows, maybe even Fireflux or another team below Fireflux will knock them out of the top 3.
Definitely possible at this stage. It's still 2 games to go, and in general, profiting more than 10 points a game over someone is going to be very, very tricky, which means that teams like Alpha 7, Damwon here at this stage I don't think have that much of a chance to go through. But for Fireflux, Vampire, and Bacon Time, those are the three who I think could knock that spot and take it down. Godlike Stalwart, not out of the woods just yet as well. Remember, they still could be overtaken by a team like Fireflux, but their points total of 239 is so much more to try and jump on over. And as I said, trying to profit more than 10 points a game over someone at the top of those tables is going to be really, really hard. And Fireflux, they're 21 points behind. That would mean a little bit more than 10 per game.
Yeah. Worst case scenario for Godlike, it'd be HVVP and Fireflux stepping up, right? Which would essentially knock them out of the top 3. But we'll see what happens. We have this game and just only one more, John. And this is a good circle all the way up in the Northeast for a team like Alpha 7. So if Alpha 7 wins this one, hey, it can come down to the very last game, and Alpha 7 all of a sudden, right, has a chance at that top 3. But this is only the first circle. Who knows what's going to happen? But it looks at least a favorable start for the team of Alpha 7.
I'm also looking at what HVVP are going to do. I mean, we keep talking about them because they are in the crucial position. They're going to move up to La Copperia. They can move in along that northern side and take some control there. Miramar is the map where they have their only chicken dinner as well. And playing from this north side, it can give them a little bit of confidence. Hopefully, they can get there without losing a player or making a little bit of a mistake. Hang on a minute, Fireflux.
Uh-oh.
Having a bit of a scrap with Nova, but I don't think either of them really have the weaponry to go for this engagement. Solkay moving forward to the micro Uzi.
I like it.
Spots the back of the bus.
I like it. I like how Order was also so cautious to the point that he didn't even get back on the bike, because then he'd have to drive forwards just a little bit. And if Soke found the gun in that first shack, you know, that could have been the end for him. But both teams just on a scramble for any sort of points they could get. You know, Order, he probably picked up that bike about 500 meters away, found a pistol, saw a player parachuting, stretching a little bit, and just gunned it. Try to get those shots in.
I mean, you do go for those. And if Fireflux had lost a player there, that could have essentially cut down their run for this third place as well.
Oh, yeah.
They're currently 6 points behind HVVP. Absolutely within striking distance. Vampire, 215, 9 points behind HVVP. Oh, it is so, so dangerous. It's kind of all I'm paying attention to, I'll be honest.
I also like how Nova, you know, they went from like 8th up to 1st, and they got so many good games. They have an 11-point lead, but you still see player like Order pulling stunts like that. And it's not, you know, I'm going to say it's not exactly a bad idea, but it's like, it's calculated risk, and he's got the confidence enough, and he knows the second he misses the first few shots, he needs to get out of there, and that's exactly what he did. And he still took the precaution of not getting right back on the bike and, you know, being forced to drive a little bit more forwards into the other player.
So far today, Nova have earned 96 points. 96 points in 4
games.
matches. 4 matches. That's almost a 25-point average today. That is insane. It is unlike, I think, anything I've ever seen, to be honest, especially at a PMGC level.
6 points. Let's just say they got 100 points in 4 games, right? To make the math simple. That means in 4 games, they have done almost more, like half of what they've done in 3 days.
Yeah, that's. I mean, 154 was their total after the first 3 days, right? So they are currently, what is that? You put me on the spot now. 58 points less than they've been able to earn over the 3 days in the first 4 games.
There's a lot of percentages and maths that could be further done with that, but I'm going to leave that to you if you want to.
The bottom line is really bloody impressive. Is what
yes.
they've done.
To put it in simple terms, without all the numbers. But yeah, first circle, teams are starting to rotate 5 minutes in. This circle we did see the other day, except it ended way, way far in the north in a very familiar area. I'm thinking this one's going to pull back a little bit more central. into a spot that teams probably have already played. I can't even remember if we've seen a circle in here. We definitely have a couple in the northern side to start off with, though.
Donuts USG currently moving around near water treatment, getting north fairly early, snaking their way through the hills of Miramar. Nova currently just to the west side of Junkyard, moving over their own hills as well. Miracle workers here today. Look at that Paraboy, just stretching it out, just keeping it loose.
That's how he lands all his long-range shots. Got to keep it relaxed and loose. Keep the trigger finger ready, but not too tight.